back to episode 4 of Can We Talk for a Minute? Um, I am Arthur Felipe Morris here with my brothers Corey and Rich. And today we have a special request topic. And I'm glad people are starting to reach out and give us topics. So we had a group of women hit us up and say, can we do a podcast on why men cheat? And a lot of the things that they were saying let me know that they don't really know what goes on in a man's mind. So today we're going to really do a deep dive into the philosophy of why men cheat. First off, let me ask how you brothers doing today?
Great. Happy New Year, y'all.
Laughing above ground.
Y'all too. Okay, so before we get started, I want to take you both back to when we all were at that women's conference. And we got invited to that women's conference. And the woman who was the speaker, she was up there talking about how her man stepped out and, she wasn't going for that. And she left him, they got a divorce, etc. And I remember looking at the woman. I mean, she literally had hair, like natural hair all the way down her back, nice physique, tall, just a really attractive woman. And to this day, I have no clue who her husband is or who her ex-husband is, whatever her situation was. But I remember looking at the woman and thinking to myself, I could see why a woman like her would draw women to her man. Now, she couldn't understand that idea, but me being a man, I could understand why a woman like her would draw women to her man. And being a man, sometimes, women give us too much credit. They think that we're on guard all the time or our self-esteem is high all the time. And, so when we get this influx of women coming at us for something as simple as us having an attractive woman, sometimes you might just be in a space where you don't know how to handle it. And you may end up doing some things that, could hurt your woman. So what we need to start off with today is, what are some of the reasons that you've heard women give as to why men cheat? Or some adjectives about men as to why men cheat.
Greedy, selfish, no self-control,
pieces of shit,
ain't shit,
weak, immature, mommy issues.
I ain't heard the mommy issues.
I just saw a post the other day that said something to the extent of any man that's still out here running around with a bunch of women in 2020 or 2021 is just immature, has mother issues. Now, how having mother issues applies to you having a bunch of women, I don't know. But they come up with all types of philosophies to describe how men think.
Insecure is another one they say, because you're insecure.
Homosexual. I've seen a woman say that men have a bunch of women to hide the fact that they are homosexual.
That was a new one I just came across, hearing that about somebody, a woman that he, dealt with for a long period of time. And she came out and said, basically trying to inform me that he was gay. That's why he's got a whole lot of kids or, has a lot of women or whatever. So I've heard that one.
I ain't never heard that one.
I mean, it was new to me. Like I said, that just happened.
Well, no, I have heard that one. I have. Let me take that back. I have heard that one.
That's new. It was new to me, though. I guess that's new within the last, 2 months? So, yeah. That's fairly new to me.
Yeah. So I want to do like almost a sort of experiment. Let's take some of those adjectives and apply them to some things that, let's just say, a woman might do. For example, let's just say a woman goes to the doctor and finds out she's a little bit overweight and has some health issues that she needs to diet and exercise, right? But she keeps falling off the wagon in relation to her diet. Couldn't we say she lacks discipline?
Yep.
Definitely.
Let's just say a woman, was kind of stuck on a man from her past. And, no matter what type of situation she's in currently, when that man reaches out or that man, acts like he's struggling or whatever, and she still, she still entertains him. Can we say she's weak for him?
Yeah.
Yeah, no doubt.
If a woman is out here sleeping with a whole bunch of men, or they have this thing where they say no slut shaming. So when you see what women deal with a bunch of men, you're not supposed to point the finger at it, but can we say that women who sleep with a bunch of men have father issues? So I'm saying that to say, like, it's important to understand that these adjectives apply to other things outside of men cheating. But it's just so easy to attach those types of words or homosexual and things like that to a man's actions when you personally can't describe them, or you don't understand why a man is maneuvering or has maneuvered in the manner that he has. So that was the importance of starting off with the women's conference, because clearly, like, we were all sitting at the same table and we all looking at that woman, and we could clearly see, like, oh, if that's your woman, women gonna be at you. Because a woman like her is gonna make other women think that you're somebody, even if you're nobody, or even if you're somebody, she's gonna magnify it. And that's gonna make women get at you. So let's dig into some of these adjectives. So let's start off with insecurities. So Corey, do men have insecurities in relation to women?
Do men have insecurities in relations with women? Elaborate on that some more before I answer that.
Okay, for example, at a certain point in your life, did you ever look at a woman and think to yourself, you weren't in a place in your life for you to have her? Like, I can't get her, or she ain't.
Yeah, no doubt.
Right. What about you, Rich?
Yeah, most definitely. Like, it's you can have insecurities even after you have the woman, that you wanted. After you got beforehand, before you get her, you like you said, you can feel like a man can feel like, well, I might not be in position right now where I'm at in my life, or I might not have my, financially, it might not be there. But even after you get the woman, you can still like shit isn't linear in life. Like, things aren't always steady or going up. Things can go up and down, so your insecurities can creep back in. So yeah, that's definite.
Right. And, sometimes a woman could say things to a man, and I've seen women do it a lot of times, where they try to do it thinking that it's going to be a way to control their man. So they try to make him insecure. Like, you broke motherfucker. Like, the type of man I could be dealing with, or you weak, the type of man I left to be with you, et cetera, et cetera. And, depending on the type of man that he is, the woman playing on those insecurities could break him down. And he might find another woman that builds him up. So, yes, in a sense, that's an insecurity that leads to a man cheating, but it's just not him being insecure. It's a lot deeper than just throwing that adjective on the man. It's a lot of determining factors in there. What you gonna say, Corey?
That's what I've come across recently with myself. Like, self-doubt and insecurities, and that will, it'll cause you to do things, not even just with other women, like, your own insecurities or your own self-doubt will make you do things like, to try to look for that out of other people or even look for it in yourself. Like, it may cause you to go buy a car you didn't need. You know what I'm saying? It may cause you to go buy the jewelry or, going to the barbershop twice a week. Just like it'll, you buying, all the, the Burberry, the latest clothes, the high-end fashion. So, yeah, that shit'll push your insecurities. And I laughed at it so hard when you said it because that's the one I always heard. The two I always heard. Ugly and broke. So they get mad at me.
Okay, hold on.
They keep that motherfucker chambered.
So are y'all saying that if you with a woman and she breaking you down, calling you ugly or calling you, don't nobody want your broke ass, whoop-de-whoop, but you trying to really be with that woman, but then you may have a coworker or somebody you just cool with, and they see a different side of you, like you ain't broke, you just, going through a spell right now. You ain't unattractive, you ain't ugly, you just handsome.
Yeah, strong features.
Yeah, you just got strong features. So you're gonna gravitate to her, but is that because of your woman gave you insecurities and pushed you to that other woman?
I would say that you had those insecurities already, and the woman that you was with magnified them. She pointed them out. You know what I'm saying? I mean, because men do it to women all the time. Like one of the best ways to, and I learned this from, some old school cats, to put your claws in a woman is to make her feel insecure. Mm-hmm. That's how a lot of pimps and guys who use women get that off. They drop the woman's self-esteem so low to where the woman is constantly looking for validation and recognition from the very guy who's not going to give it to her, because keeping her low is to his benefit. So that goes both ways. A woman who's dealing with her own insecurities, maybe about being cheated on or abandonment issues, she tries to keep her man's, insecure, to keep him in place. And so you can't step out because don't nobody want you. So don't even think about stepping out. Because I've been out there. Don't nobody want you out there.
But all right, I got a question. But when somebody cheats, does that actually have something to do with their partner? Or is that just something that the man wanted to do? Do men cheat and with the notion of trying to get back at their girl? Or is that just something that he's doing on his own?
Now, you could go ahead, Rich.
Yeah, I don't think there's no one set answer to that. Like, I don't think we can sit here and put everything in one single box. Categorize all men as the same, or say there's one answer to this broad question. Because, it can go any different way for any different man. Like, there's tons of reasons why, men do different things, but yeah, like going back to that question is both.
Me personally, I don't think that a woman can make a man cheat. I think, you always had an option to leave. If a woman is putting you down, and again, it depends on if you got your stuff together and you could afford to leave. Sometimes guys be in situations where they don't have a car, they don't have a home, so they can't easily just leave. So they have to stay there and take the abuse, the verbal abuse from the woman. And yes, I could see that guy maybe stepping out saying, I'm going to go do this to hurt my woman. behind her back or whatever. But I mean, if you got your stuff together, you can just leave. Just don't even put up with a woman who thinks that lowly of you. Like, baby, if you think that lowly of me, I'm gonna get out your way.
All right, I got a question for y'all though, right? And it's a statement, right, from the infamous Jody. And he said, I don't know why I cheat. I just like to fuck bitches from time to time, but I don't know why I do it. And that's some honesty for your ass. Is that true?
I think that's immature. Or I think that's not being able to articulate why you do something. So you say you don't know. I mean, we all saw the movie. You saw how, Taraji Henson's character talked to him. You a little boy, Jody. You ain't no man, Jody. You this, you this, you that. So, yeah, it's a given that, he's going to entertain a woman who's saying the total opposite of that. Like, ooh, Jody, you so handsome. Ooh, Jody, I've been at you since we were in high school. Ooh, Jody, I wanted you before you even got with your baby mom.
So in that movie, per se, he just didn't know how to articulate what was going on.
Right, correct. And we also saw in that same movie the premise of what I was saying about when we were at the women's event at the beginning is him dropping his woman off at work made other women at her job desire him. Because you remember the one chick, she just threw herself straight at him. Hey, man, to throw something else in there, she was a bad motherfucker.
She was nice. She was definitely nice.
So another one. So lacks discipline. I don't understand the concept of lacking discipline in relation to cheating. I would say you lack discipline if you are being manipulated into situations. But if you're doing things, if you're cognizant of your actions, that's not a lack of discipline. That's more that you desire to do that. Discipline is kind of, you eat something that you don't need because you just couldn't keep yourself away from that thing. Now to just pick it up and eat it because you want to eat it, that's not lacking discipline. You just, you don't care. You just, you want to eat that thing.
Okay, I had a guy tell me this before. And he was like, I think he was married. And he said, man, it's not my words, everybody. It's somebody else's words. And he was like, he said his woman was good. He said, that's like steak. He said, she's steak. He said, man, but if you eat steak every day, sooner or later, you're gonna start craving a burger. He said, sooner or later, you gonna start craving some chicken. Sooner or later, you may drop down and get you a pork chop. But you're gonna go back to that steak. He was basically saying, like, after so long, you just need a variety as a man. That just one situation as a man is not good enough. Is that correct? Do y'all think that's correct? Maybe.
Mm-hmm. You can go ahead, Rich.
I can see that. I can see, human nature, you want a little bit of change. It doesn't have to be a different woman. You can have a little bit of change in your own situation you have. in your own relationship. But change, variance, I can definitely see that. It just really gets all different once y'all go into a situation, y'all have that agreement to, be in this relationship where you don't fool with other women. So definitely I can understand the steak thing, with chicken and whatever else, like, because if you're a single man out here, you still want to have that urge. So like it just really changes when you get in a relationship and have somebody use your actions. So yeah, I can definitely see the change up coming.
For me, I would never want to use the phrase good enough. Because that's implying that someone who was good enough for you to enter a relationship with them, but that person isn't good enough to keep you from stepping out. And I think that's the thing that troubles most women, because they think that when a man step out, it means as a woman, they're not good enough or they're lacking in some area.
Exactly.
And I'm going to just be honest, just based on things I've seen growing up, just over my years, things I've seen with myself, other people. The way men think is not about the woman they're with being good enough. It's just simply about conquest. You could tell a man all day long that this woman over here who's somewhat attractive allegedly has horrible sex, the vagina dry or whatever. But a man will still sex her just to see for himself. Now, his woman could have WAP for him at home. You know what I'm saying? So he know where the WAP at, But then it's like, let me go see what's up with this over here. And that's just how men are. And I don't think that that's a matter of lacking discipline or anything. I think it's just a part of men's nature. Now I understand that, like we train animals to be disciplined. So we would want to believe that we could tame a man in that aspect and make him be disciplined. And maybe you can in some instances, but it's just a lot of ways it's in a man's nature is conquest. Like, women tend to brag on the least amount of men that they've been with. Like, I've only been with 2 men in my life, my high school sweetheart and my child's father. Or I married the first man I ever slept with, and we still married this long. Men, on the other hand, more the mindset of men is racking them up. I smashed my whole high school class when I was 18, or when I got to college, I was just smashing everything moving. That's the way men think. Men aren't raised to have this concept of just get with this one woman. You get where I'm coming from? Like, when I get to college, I'm going to find me a girlfriend and be with her for the rest of my life. No man is thinking that. A man is thinking, when I get to college and I have my own dorm room, I'm smashing everything moving.
I think it goes to the bigger.
Hold on. But doesn't that go back to what I stated earlier? When a man step out, it don't necessarily have anything to do with his woman.
Yeah, that's what I just said.
Yeah, it don't.
Oh no, I'm just making sure we're on the same page. That's all.
Absolutely nothing to do with his woman, and more so of his nature. Just that conquering nature.
I think the biggest problem we have dealing with this is that women try to look at the man and understand the man through her own train of thought or nature. And it's not that. It's, you can't relate to a man, using your own intuitions and your own train of thought and logic. It just doesn't work the same way. It's not like, men are different. Men are men and women are women. Like you said, like, we don't have the same desires and wants, and like still fine. You can still come and be in a committed relationship and all that. Like you still do all that, but like it's just not. It's not the same ground. It's not the same playing field. Hell, if I give a woman the dick I got, she gonna go crazy. She ain't gonna know what to do with this motherfucker. You know what I'm saying? Like it ain't that easy to control. Like it's just different.
Yeah, I agree. Just to add to that, or just to double back down on it, the way women view men is not the same way that men view women. Like I said, a woman, may go to college in hopes that she meets a guy who's goal oriented and they could get together, have, both be like-minded, similar goals, and work towards a relationship. A man wants to smash the entire sorority. He wants to be able to call home and say that. Like, bro, I done smashed half a sorority.
Okay, so my question is though, why do men cheat then?
Well, like we just said, there's various reasons. For one, it's just nature, and two, just the concept of cheating alone is like it's a construct. So it's like we developed like cheating, like just cheating in a game. So a game has rules, right?
Mm-hmm.
Then if you break a rule in that game, you cheating,
mm-hmm.
right? Like cheating in spades, cheating in Monopoly, cheating in chess, cheating in checkers, cheating on a video game. Mm-hmm. Cheat codes on some of the video games. You get what I'm saying? But you first have to understand that you're in a game. So in a lot of ways, you take the relationship concept and say like, okay, we're going to put a man and a woman together and they're going to be monogamous. That's the game. That's the goal. For a man and a woman to get together and they be monogamous. When you straight from that, you cheating. You feel me? So now you got a lot of men who sleep with a woman and her mindset is monogamy. Like, you slept with me, we in a relationship, I expect you to be monogamous. He's playing a game now. Right?
Mm-hmm.
Now, it's a difference. It's a difference when you commit yourself to something, right? Because now you're saying, I'm agreeing to being this type of person or being in this situation and not doing certain things. That's still not saying that you're perfect, but you making a effort to play by those rules, per se. But a lot of times as men, we know you sleep with a woman and she think in her mind, you slept with me, I know I got the good, so I'm enough woman for you. So there's no reason for you to even want another woman. So now you find yourself being a cheater in a situation you never really agreed to be in the first place.
Yeah. Okay. All right. But so this I guess is all right. But have y'all ever had this happen to y'all? Well, no, I ain't gonna ask y'all that. Let me reword that. Have y'all ever heard? You ever heard of this happening, where you with a woman, y'all been together for a certain length of time, whoop-de-whoop, y'all both said y'all gonna be with each other, y'all both saying y'all love each other, whoop-de-whoop. Y'all both saying y'all love each other, and someone steps out. The gentleman steps out, and her response is, when you stepped out, she says, if you love me, you wouldn't have did that. So does that mean when a man steps out, he doesn't love his woman? Does it mean that him stepping out is something a little deeper than that? Something else is going wrong prior that got it to that situation? Don't answer at once.
You go ahead, Rich. Or you want me to go?
You can go ahead and go.
In that situation, we already touched on that before. Men don't necessarily equate love to their ability to follow rules. Men love women. Men don't necessarily love the rules that surround a relationship. That's not really our way of showing love. We touched on that in a previous podcast, but when a man is with a woman, he thinking in his mind like, I love her, I die for her, I do anything for her. This is my woman.
Mm-hmm.
Him stepping out doesn't mean he feels any different about those things that he said previously. He still feels that way. When he stepped out, it was just more so, physical. And even if it's emotional, it still doesn't mean that he doesn't feel that way about that, his woman. That doesn't change for men that easily. And Rich said it for a fact, like a man gonna go home. And it's hard to pry a man away from a woman that he loves. Yeah, he might break some rules. He might, he might not live up to some societal standard, but the love don't change.
Yeah, so, you can't measure love by that either. Like you can't say that, because a man did something that you didn't like, he doesn't love you. Like it sounds stupid in a motherfucker for real. Like, because, and then because you have to use that towards if you want to be on that standard, you gotta use it towards everything. If your old lady didn't cook at night when you came home from you must not love me. You feel me? Or, anything. Like, she didn't do this, she didn't do that, you didn't do this, you didn't do that. Love ain't there. And it's just stupid as fuck. Like, what they want to say is, you didn't stop what you wanted to do but you didn't put her feelings or her over anything you wanted to do.
You were inconsiderate.
Yeah, inconsiderate. That's the best way to put it. You were inconsiderate. Like Skeeter said it before, like things get handled a whole lot better in a whole lot of these situations if you just really sat down and talked about it and started just jumping to these fight, argue, cuss, say that you don't love them, say that you don't care, just trying to break the other person down instead of trying to get to the root of the issue, just trying to really figure out what's going on. Because most of the time, this for a man, I can tell you, and it ain't like I've been out here fucking around with a lot of women, in a relationship, but it don't come down to that. Like, it's not what it's about. Like you said, he said, like, it ain't that, you're not good enough, or it's not an issue with you. It's just, sometimes you got things and shit. Sometimes motherfucker just wants, like as Corey said, something different, conversation, whatever it is. Shit, Ski said you might step out of that wet ass lake to go conquer Mount Dry Pussy. You know what I'm saying? So sometimes it's about the conquest.
You own the desert now. You own the lake and the desert.
You want to plant this flag in both of them.
Go ahead. You finna say something, Corey?
Nah, go ahead. I'm gonna let y'all say. I got some else, but go ahead.
Go ahead, because I have a good transition off of what Rich said. So go ahead and get your point
out. I hear what y'all saying. I'm just trying to make sure that it's coming off that people can understand it. That's all. So when a man is cheating, sometimes he can cheat just physical, just something physical. But as I'm hearing y'all talk, it's more of the communication. Something that happened in the communication reel where maybe something has got off track. Is that possible? Like, like when you first meet a chick, y'all itchy and scratchy. Y'all with each other every day. You kicking it, you think she the best thing since sliced bread. She think you the best thing since sliced bread. But as time goes on, that newness wears off. That communication factor, can dull out a little bit. So once the communication starts dulling out, is that like opening the door up for the cheating to start?
No.
Or hold on, I got another question before y'all answer that. And is cheating just a part of a man being a player? I heard Ice-T say, he say guys be saying they're a player. He say, but you sneaking around over here talking to one girl, and you sneaking around over here talking to another girl. He said, until you can get both of them in that same room and talk to them both, he's like, you ain't a player, you a cheater.
Well, I think now this is where I'm going to agree with women. Mm-hmm. I think if you a player, or if you even attempting to be a player, you're immature, you lack discipline, you might be homosexual, you're all those things. Because like I said, the word player implies playing. You're playing games.
Okay.
You sitting back saying, I wonder if I could get these two women in the same room, or I wonder if I could spit enough game over here, spit enough game over there to get both of these women to come together. That's just for my own ego stroking.
Okay. So if he's a player is an immature person, but a cheater is not?
I wouldn't say that a cheater is immature. I would say that a cheater, as with any other type of cheating, I mean, just like, basketball, you playing basketball. You go into the basket, it's the game winner. Somebody guarding you, you jump up. Like we just watched LeBron flop against Houston. He faked like he got fouled and fell out on the ground. DeMarcus Cousins got kicked out the game, etc. That's cheating. Like when you go back and you look at the tape, you see like, oh, he cheated. Like he faked that. You know what I mean? So that's just coming up short in the game that you playing. Or that's failing to stick to an agreement. It's like, you went to work and you slacked off a little bit. You didn't fully fulfill the requirements of your job. That doesn't make you immature. That doesn't mean anything. It just means that day in particular, you just wasn't up, to give it your all. You fell short.
All right, I got another one. All right. Say we out here, we shooting dice, right? So me and you shooting dice, Ski. And it's your turn to roll, and you roll a 9. And you roll the next time you roll an 8. But you tell me it was a 9. And you win. But so you just cheated me out my money. And so I say, well, guess what? Since he cheating, I ain't fucking with him no more. I ain't playing that game with him no more.
You had it right. Or you also had a right to point out the fact that he cheated. Like, bruh, that wasn't a 9, that was an 8. Now we gonna keep shooting, bruh. Keep it real. Simple and plain. So it could go both ways.
Yeah, it definitely can go both ways. I'm just trying to figure out. I'm not. Let me take that back. I ain't trying to figure it out. I was just trying.
You been an antagonist. That's how you doing. You been a piece of shit. You been an antagonist. Trying to represent both sides.
No, I get it. I mean, trust me, I get it. I get it 100%. But I think what you said carries over into what I was gonna say next is understanding men. A woman who maybe grew up around her brothers or grew up around a father who has a bunch of women, she kind of learns the logic behind how and why men move a certain way or do certain things. she may have to talk to the girlfriends of her brothers or, uncles or whoever about their, actions. Now, that same brother, cousin, uncle, whatever, may cry to the woman about how much he loved his woman. So then the woman may say, well, if you love your woman, why did you step out? And he might just say, I don't know, sis. I just got drunk and got caught up. Simple and plain. He's not saying I don't love my woman anymore or nothing. He's saying, damn, sis, I just got drunk, got caught up.
He just made a mistake.
Yeah, I just simply made a mistake. Now, so a woman who grew up in a scenario like that understands that men make mistakes. They may have watched their father make mistakes. They may have heard stories of their pastor at their church making mistakes. So they have a better understanding of how men move. And that's what I wanted to hint on is, back in the day when we were younger, men had to actually get out here and pursue women. And to be able to pursue women, especially in the era before you could get on social media and flash some type of material wealth or whatever, you actually had to know women. Like sit back and peep what's her favorite color, how she thinks, what she's into. So when you approach her, you almost have a whole notebook, like you completely understand her. So when women were being pursued, they didn't have to necessarily understand men because they were women, they were being pursued. So that's why, like, even with a pimp or a player sits back and understands women. They've even written books about it. All the way, they have it down to a science. Like, this is how you snag and work a woman. This is how you get your claws in her, and this is how you make her maneuver this way, that way. But that comes from studying women. But it's very rare that you're going to find a woman that studies men. So anytime that they see male actions, they trying to figure it out. Or like Rich said, they put it into their own psyche. Like, he's doing this because of this. No, if you were doing that, you would be doing it because of that. But that's not necessarily how he moves. And since we're in an era now where people just kind of lost, nobody's trying to really gain understanding. Like, even with social media, you start bringing up, like I used to bring up topics on social media all the time, just trying to get people to understand certain things. And it always returned into an argument. No one's seeking understanding. They want to just stand on their own thoughts. And that's been wrong for the last 25 years. Because one of the key things, let me say this last piece. One of the key things about men is when a man is sitting around and he has nothing. Let's just take like a rapper like Future, since, Future irks most women's nerves. Let's take a rapper like Future. Before Future was famous, I remember they said he used to just hang around his cousin, uncle, whoever studio it was. Just was a guy at the studio, right? And just one day hopped on a microphone and realized, hey, I can make good music. But when he was just a guy sitting around at the studio and watching other successful rappers coming through with women and seeing how women treated those men, he was looking out at the world saying to himself, if I ever make it or make it to a certain level, I'm going to get this type of women or these women specifically. So then when you look up and you find yourself there, right? What are you going to do? Those women are a part of your dreams.
Part of your trophies.
You manifested that. You manifested the money, you manifested the fame, you manifested the vehicles, and you manifested those women.
So it's a part of your trophies?
Not necessarily trophies, just a part of your success. Like, that's how you view success. Like, when I become successful, I want this type of money, this type of house, this type of car, and these types of women. Even the woman that you currently with, or the woman that you were with, if you divorced or, separated from your woman, whatever, at some point, you looked out at the world and said, I want her. And then in your mind, you did whatever it took to get her.
So let's say you got your woman, but you're not successful. But when you get successful, you don't want that woman no more.
I mean, that happens. I mean, that happens for sure. I mean, we've seen
Every
that.
situation is different.
Yeah, because we've seen some men get successful and stay with their woman. But I also think that it boils down to, and again, that's another one of those things about women understanding men. And I think I even mentioned this before. A man has to go through becoming successful, maybe falling off and becoming successful again to really understand what he likes, what type of people are real, what type of women are real. Because initially he don't know. Like he just, he's just out here. So it's like, okay, I just got to the league. I just got to the NBA. Now, everywhere I go, where I come from, it was all a certain type of women. But now here, everywhere I go, it's all these exotic, you know, women from all around the world. That's right there after the game. Every time, it's time to go to the locker room. He may indulge in that, but then once he go through a little drama with those women, maybe get his second contract after blowing his first contract and not being able to buy the woman a Bentley that she asking for and get outed on social media for being an NBA player and not being, and being broke. So now when he gets his next big contract, he know what's real. He might even look backwards like, you know what? I should have stayed with you. And if you could forgive me, I want to be with you. I'll marry you right now. Because now I've grown to understand what's real.
Yeah, that's possible. So would it be just throwing stuff out there? So, sometimes men cheat because in this thing of life, we got to bump our heads a couple times to figure out what we like and what we don't like. I ain't gonna say what's right and what's wrong, but what's good for us and what's not good for us.
For sure.
And I ain't gonna just I can't and could it be that, well, I don't know, but let's say like your upbringing, right? So let's say in your upbringing, if you was brought up in a 2-family house and the only thing you seen was your mom and daddy together, you may strive for that to happen, to have that in your situation. But if you was in a house where the only thing you seen was your wasn't no daddy, or only thing you seen was your daddy, keep stepping out on moms, does that make the kids or that a person grow up to emulate that?
You go first, Rich.
I mean, that's just natural though. That's like, you can definitely, it's simple psychology, you kind of, emulate what you were around. So that's definitely basically, you can say that somebody, random parents, parents all together, they treated, from what they saw, treated each other a certain way. So they kind of, look for that in somebody else. Or if you, single parent household and around, or your father raised you and he did it by himself and you just grew up thinking, do things my own way. So that's you can definitely say that. But ain't nothing written in stone. So it's always some variance. But at the end of the day, man, you got to figure out what's in your own heart. And that does take, like going back to what you were saying, bumping your head a few times. Sometimes you got to bump your head a few times playing by somebody else's rules or what they told you to do to figure out what you really want. So,
or you might even come to the space where you say, I'm not gonna live by nobody's rules, like a Future. You feel me? No matter what you say, you can say I ain't shit, you can say I'm a cheater, you can say I'm nasty, whatever. I'm gonna deal with a bunch of women because that's how I want to live my life. Period. I'm not living by nobody's rules. Now, back to what you said, Corey, I totally disagree with that.
Which one?
With how you saw, because us women say that all the time, like, these men are this way because they didn't see a healthy relationship between their mother and their father. No.
Okay.
For one, your father could have been an average Joe guy, average in appearance, average in finance, right? So his ability to get out and get women or attract a bunch of women could have been null and void. That doesn't necessarily mean that has to be you just because he's your father. So your path in life may be different. Your father, was just average his entire life, but here it is, you may be successful, handsome, athletic, or whatever it is by the age of 20. So your path is different. Your opportunities or your interactions with women are going to be different. So you may end up having a bunch of women simply because you are who you are. None of that shapes you. When you're a man, none of that shapes you. Like, women only be that way because women adhere to that ideology that they see in their household. Like, oh, I'm supposed to be with one man. Like, women tend to follow the rules a little more than men. That's what I really want to say. So women kind of grow up thinking like, I'm supposed to be with one man, get married, and that's how my life is supposed to go. Men don't, that's not a man. Like, a man ain't sitting there thinking because his father was married, he need to be married, or because his father didn't have a bunch of women, he shouldn't have a bunch of women. No. A man is gonna move how life come at him. If he puts himself in a position in life to where he could get a bunch of women, he gonna entertain that shit.
And going back to that, I say that all the time. Women are much better workers and better at following the rules. And it shows in the workplace. It shows everywhere. And that's why they try to bust your balls all the time to make sure you follow their rules. And it don't be the same thing. A woman's gonna, like, we look at it all the time. Women are so successful in the workforce right now because they're great at doing tasks and following rules. A man, I'll tell you this from my own example. I can't speak for everybody. I was terrible at work because somebody told me to do something. I didn't want to do it. I want to figure out why you want me to do it that way. And I knew I could come up with a better way to do it. And I knew I wasn't going to be here forever. So, like, I can tell you that's for a fact. They come up with these rules, like you said, ideologies that they want to try to, they live by themselves. But when you try to force it on somebody else, and you don't even put the other person's feelings or, what they want to do in life or goals into account, that's going to be the basis for a bad relationship.
So you said women are better, they more focused. That's what you trying to say, Rick?
I ain't got to focus. You can use focus if you want to, but it's not. They just better at, it's.
You can't
abide by the rules.
You can't.
So by nature, we don't want to abide by the rules then.
No, you can't use focus because you can focus on the total opposite. I'm going to focus on getting to all these O's. I'm just saying, you can't use focus. Focus is a choice. You know what I mean?
Yes, that's true.
Like I said, you can focus on living healthy, or you can focus on going to the club, getting drunk, eating party wings every night. You can focus either direction. That's a choice.
Mm-hmm.
Corey.
Now, I'm trying to look at my notes now. Okay, so you said like you just focus on just hitting hoes then, right? Yeah. So with a man, well, but if he has a woman and he's committed to that woman and he's focused on just hitting hoes, is that lacking something right there? Is something a little off right there?
Yeah. Now that's immature, and that's different than saying he's a man who has a woman and he stepped out. If he's a man and he's focused on chasing women, he has no business in a relationship, period. Because now we're not dealing with slip-ups. We're dealing with what we just said earlier, a player. He's really playing games. It's like he wants to see how many trophies he could put on the mantle. And if that's your mindset, you shouldn't be dealing with any woman and acting like it's some sort of commitment. Like I said, and again, that's different than you being in a commitment and stepping out, on mistake, or, just stepping out because, you just slipped up that time or whatever it is. But to just be out, right, flat out claiming to be with a woman and just out here chasing women, that's totally different. That's just like the inbox, a man has a woman and a woman inbox him a nude pic and that man goes and sleep with that woman, right? He slipped up. But now that man in a relationship with a woman and inboxing a woman saying that he desires that woman, he wish he had that woman. When could he get a chance with that woman? That's way different, man. That's a totally different mindset right there.
Okay, I got another one for y'all. All right. You'll hear a woman say, guys try to talk to me all the time, and I turn them down. How you can't turn down a woman trying to talk to you?
I'm gonna raise my hand on this one. I literally, I made a post about it last night, but I don't know if y'all saw it. And it was really, I threw that out there just to kind of set the tone for the discussion. So we're gonna do this we're gonna do it metaphorically. We're gonna go to internet attention, right? So you landing in the bed with your woman, y'all done watched a good movie, y'all done ate good, y'all maybe even had sex, right? You wake up 4:00 in the morning to take a piss, and you just happen to scroll through your phone, and somebody texts you, your friends, your family text you pictures of your woman in a swimsuit or panties and bra in y'all bathroom that she done posted on social media. While y'all was in the bed together, she done literally went in the bathroom and posted this, and saying thanks y'all to the likes and hearts that's being put on her picture, right? Because sometimes a lot of these women get a rush from attention. Even if they're with a man, they still want this World Wide Web attention. With men, attention ain't enough. You know what I mean? Like a man wants the whole kit and caboodle. So if a man to say this, I'm gonna say it this way. If a woman is attention seeking, attention is enough for the woman. She's achieved her goal when she receives attention. If a man is attention seeking, he wants vagina. His end goal is vagina. Like attention is just not enough for a man. You get where I'm coming from?
Mm-hmm.
Like it don't stop at attention for a man.
Okay.
So that logic that you said, it don't apply to men. It applies to women.
Hold on.
Her stuff and
so it applies to a woman. If a lot of men is checking for her, trying to shoot their shot at her, she can shut that down because she's just happy with the fact that they just shooting their shot.
Exactly.
That's all she needs.
Exactly.
Okay. So, but if a woman is shooting her shot at a man, he ain't just happy with her shooting the shot. He got to go hit that.
Yeah. He gonna try to knock her down.
She got to go down smoking.
For sure. For sure.
Okay. Is it one of things too where, a woman all her life, a man trying to knock her down, but as a man, not, the typical guy, he may not get that many women trying to knock him down.
Exactly.
So when one come his way, she got to go down smoking.
Go down, or when he gets to that space in his life where women are actually throwing themselves at him, trying to knock him down,
they got to go down smoking.
Yeah, and even from our own personal lives, and I'm really not big on meeting people. I've never been that type of person. Like a lot of times people see me being outgoing and outspoken on social media and think that that's my personality, but y'all know I'm not really big on being around people I don't know. And even that's even when it comes to women. Like, like a woman that comes talking to me that I don't know personally, it's kind of like, what's your angle? That's how I take it. You follow me? But I remember, like, you know, when we were doing the upscales and, you know, we was first busting out the tailor suits and the city hadn't really seen that before. And I would get all types of women approaching me, you know, like, you so handsome, or you look so good in that suit, or blah, 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 blah. And for me, but having already been through that phase in my life where I got attention from women, when it came back around in that aspect, like a different form of attention, it wasn't something that I felt like I had to pursue. You get where I'm coming from?
So you saying they
Like,
ain't go down smoking?
yeah, exactly.
They did or they didn't?
They did. They did.
Fuck out of here.
They did, bro. They did. They did, man.
Yeah, I remember you had a suit and a chain on,
Right.
man. I don't know about that.
We gonna keep it pushing. We gonna keep it pushing.
Nah. Hell nah.
All right, now serious though. Do y'all think that as a man though, as with life experiences, with the more experience you have in life with women, the more experiences you have, does that make it that you're less likely to cheat?
Go ahead, Rich. I have to get my charger.
All right. Nah, I mean, like I said, it depends on the person themselves. Like if they got it, you know, if they got some kind of, if they're just looking for something else outside the relationship, conversation, sex, whatever it is, you know, if they're not fulfilling that, you know, it's go back to the same thing that we're always reverted to. And I think, you know, I guess at some point that's a hard one to say, but what you're basically trying to ask is, can you have enough women at some point to not want women anymore? And I don't think that's the truth, because you know, if you're a straight male and you like women, that's what you always gonna go for. But like I said, when you come to that point where you're in a committed relationship and you agree to that, you know, it's what they really want to know is, can you turn it off? Can you say no? And you know, it depends on the man. You know, shit. And most men can. It happens. Like I think the narrative is a little bit twisted about, you know, how many men are out here just fucking a whole lot of women, and don't be it. Like shit can just get twisted, and you know, women got a way of getting in their own minds and just forming this image and coming up with a thought, an idea that don't be the truth. So I think if you're a man, you like women, you know, it's like if you were a man, you liked women before you met your wife, get married, stop fucking with other women, get a divorce. What you want to do? You can go back and fuck with some more women once you get a divorce. So it is what it is. But you're just asking, can you turn it off? Can you stop fucking other women?
I remember this chick, she said something to me once before. She was like, she could deal, I don't necessarily say if she said she could deal with it, but she was like, my man having sex with another woman, as long as it's not at my front door, you know, like the women I call in the house, he ain't, you know, on front line with the women, she could deal with it. She said what she couldn't deal with, I had never thought about like that. She was like, she could deal with her man sleeping around, but not in her face, you know, not disrespecting her.
Because that's a whole nother level of the game. Like you get.
But she was like, what she couldn't deal with is him giving her money. She said that's a deeper connection.
Man, I can see all that.
Because if he giving her money, that means he care about her livelihood.
Yeah, I can see all that. I can see all that. And then it just goes back into how vested you are into what he's doing and how deep you want to take it. You know, if he fucked with another woman, you know, that's already got you riled up enough. Like, kind of need to be chill on that shit. Now you start to investigate, like, you know, what's the conversations like? Where'd y'all go? What'd you do? Did you help her out? And then he's like, you just kind of digging your own grave. You're trying to kill yourself by trying to get all this extra information. And if controlling that man's dick is what really got you riled up and whatever, like you need to just stop right there. Like, why are you even trying to dig deeper than that?
That can't be the basis of a relationship. But at the same time, that's not even realistic, because if you dealing with a woman in any facet, okay, of course you're gonna have those types of women who just a quick wham bam, thank you, ma'am. Like, you know, she approached you at a party, said, come on, let's get a room. That's wham bam, thank you, ma'am. If it ain't good, you don't talk to her no more. Or if she taken, she might go back to her man. She just wanted to knock you off. You know what I mean? Mm-hmm. But if you in a woman inbox, you in a relationship, but you in a woman inbox, or you pull into a woman's job, you know, trying to pursue her, it's not realistic that you're not going to spend no money on her. Yeah, you feel me? Yeah, like that's just not realistic. That's basically saying that you have to hate a woman that you cheat with almost. You know what I mean? And that's not, I mean, I know that would make women feel a lot more comfortable. You know, the woman who is in a relationship with the man would make her feel a lot more comfortable. And I'm not saying that it can't be some emotionalist situations where a man steps out, but there gonna also be some, at least consideration. I mean, if it's not, you know, he's not in love with the other woman, he might just still be considerate of the other woman. You feel me?
Okay, so something you had said earlier though, Skeet, and you like going back to the upbringing, and you said like in their house, you know, the chick house, you know, she made, let's say it's the chick, just her, and she got her mom's, her father, and let's say she got a brother. But, you know, like you say, Pops is just a, you know, regular guy. He probably, you know, and Mom's is, you know, in his category per se, probably above his category. Then you got your brother. She got a brother, but the brother, he can't really, you know, he ain't really taking too many down smoking. So that's all she sees. So then when she gets around somebody else, whoever she ends up with, and she's never seen or had to deal with somebody cheating. So being cheated on to her, you know, it could be like it's the end of the world.
Yeah, exactly. That's a fact. That's a 100% fact. Me personally, I've come across those women. I mean, like I said, we touched on that before, like where you meet a woman and she hasn't really had a bunch of life experiences, and her mind is set on the game per se, like the rules. Like, this is how it's supposed to be. Any variation from that is not right. You know? And yeah, those type of women, like, they will flip out on you, boy. You know, and that's one of those life experience things. You know, you got to kind of, you know, a lot of times you hear women think that men want virgins, but in my life experience, that's the woman I don't want no parts of, because she hasn't had any experiences. Like, she don't know the real world. Like, her whole mind is shaped on a false reality that somebody's put in her head. Her perception of men is false. Her perception of a male's actions is false. Her perception of just everything is false. And so her world gonna crash just when she has to experience reality. Her world gonna crash because she was in a fairy tale mode.
So okay, Rich answered the question, but you didn't answer. You had cut out. So do men outgrow cheating?
Yes, for sure. And again, it's still, see, cheating is just this trivial thing because you could just word it in so many ways. I think the first level that men grow out of is because check this out, like we said on the previous podcast, all people make mistakes in a relationship. Men cheat, women cheat. We done seen pastors cheat. We done seen presidents get head. We done seen teachers. We done seen the pillars of what's supposed to be righteous, you know, make the same mistakes as Joe Blow in the hood. You feel me? So it's not a certain type of man that do these things or a certain type of person. We've seen this all around the board. But I think the first thing that a man grows out of is being a player. Because I think coming in the door, you know, like I said, like when a man is just sitting around and life's not going his way, he's fantasizing about certain things. He's fantasizing about certain women. So then when he gets to that level, it's like, oh, I want them all. I just want to at least be able to say that I had them all. You know, so then once he have them all at that particular time and he go through all of the headaches of dealing with them, he know like, no, I don't want that. You know, so he grow out of that part first. So then, you know, once he grows to understand that he has to be a little more cognizant of a woman's feelings when he's dealing with a woman. It's not about him. It's not about him putting trophies on the mantle. You know, it's about human interaction and growth and understanding and trying to build together and a lot of different things. So he started to understand the variables of interacting with a woman long term, if that makes sense. So his whole blueprint kind of changes.
So, okay, so let's say, I know y'all heard a woman, or I ain't gonna say a woman, people say this like, so you gonna risk what you got at home to go chase that thing right there. But do men really actually think like that when they chasing something? Are they risking what's at home, or are they just trying to conquer something? But they trying to conquer don't have nothing to do with their home. What if they lose their home?
You go to the hospital when they tell you that you got type 1 diabetes and high blood pressure, right?
Uh-huh.
Then you go to a place that sells ribs and, none of us eat. I don't eat meat at all, but I'm just saying, let's just say fried chicken. You go to a place that got fried chicken and cheddar fries, right? You will risk your health to eat that piece of chicken.
So you saying Nick, he'll risk it off of that little ass? So
I'm just saying.
Hey boy, I'll tell you this. This Skeeter motherfucker's a bad motherfucker right here.
I'm just saying.
God damn.
I'm just saying, like that, but that'd be my point. Like that's why a lot of things you gotta really give it to people in metaphor, because it's so easy to be like, you will risk your woman at home, you stupid. But then that same woman, they just told this woman that her blood pressure 300. You know what I mean? 300 over something. You know what I mean? And she eat a piece of fried chicken, talking about she gonna start her diet tomorrow. You know, it's all the same thing. It's just one thing that you don't like. You know what I mean? I might not like you risking your life by eating that piece of chicken. But you could justify that by saying, oh, I'm gonna start my diet Monday, or, you know, this one piece of chicken not gonna hurt. But then if a man saying like, Dad, this one little piece of pussy can't hurt. You know what I mean? Yes, it can. That's gonna be the death of you.
Real shit. 100%.
Okay. Y'all ever seen that movie with Denzel Washington called Fences?
Yeah.
You see that, Rich? It's like that movie is like a play.
Oh yeah, I seen that shit. Yeah.
You seen that joint, right? All right. So in the movie, you remember Denzel, you know, it looked like he had a happy home. He was happy with his wife. He was working, go to work, come home, stay at home, whatever, you know, typical life back in those days. But then it comes out that I guess he was going to some bar and he started messing with some chick at the bar. And then I remember in the movie, old girl, his wife found out about it, and she was like, you know, you mess with old girl, you can't, you gotta stop that. And he said, nah, I ain't gonna stop that. He said, I can't remember the exact words, but it was something to the extent where when I'm with her, I feel free. I feel good. I feel like, I don't have to deal with the responsibilities of life per se. But when he come home, he got to deal with them bills, he got to deal with them kids, or whatever the case may be. And he ended up kept messing with her and got her pregnant. And then when she was pregnant, she had the baby. Remember, she died when she had the pregnancy. And then the wife stepped up and took care of the baby. And I'm just talking about the movie. And in the movie, you see how his whole world, how they portrayed it in the movie. Like his whole world was kind of crashing in front of him. Where, yeah, the wife, she took care of that baby, but she said something like, yeah, I'm gonna take care of that baby because she deserves a mother. She said, but you just lost a wife. But they lived together still, but it was almost like they was just roommates. So I'm saying all that to say that, so that piece of pussy, did they, cause him to lose his family?
Well,
I know I'm fucking y'all up with this shit though.
no. I actually like it. Let me give it to you twofold, right? For one, the one thing about movies is a movie selling you what people like to see. They call it trauma porn. Like one of the reasons, people talk about Tyler Perry movies all the time. Like it's always a man doing a woman wrong, but women love to watch the movies. So even, like with writing, like me being an author, like I've read a lot of women's books, and that's all a lot of women talk about is being cheated on in the books, right? Trauma porn. So that with that movie, the script becomes attractive when here it is, this man steps out and goes and has sex and it crumbles his world. Yeah, that's typical defining a man's reality. Now, did he hurt his woman? Of course. When he said that whole thing about when he with that woman, he feel free. When he come home, he got the burden of responsibilities. That's one of them deep dives. I'm glad you brought that up, because that's the point of this podcast. Like we really want to give people the understanding of men versus this pandering nonsense that these guys be throwing out here. You feel me? And with that, bro, what that's saying is this: your woman has expectations of you, right? The woman who trying to get you, or who just sleeping with you and ain't put her clamps down on you yet, she don't have no expectations of you. She got them in the back of her mind. She just ain't hit you with them yet. You follow me? So when you go home, your woman like, where the rent money? Why you ain't fixed my car yet? That other woman over there saying she independent. She ain't asking you to fix her car.
Yeah,
exactly. She telling you like, oh no, I got a condo, and my mama gave me this condo. It's been passed down through my family. You can come stay over here with people. So of course you're going to feel free.
Okay, hold on.
Hold on
before you say something else though. So does that go back to, we said something in an earlier podcast where a man, he gonna mess around, but he coming back home.
Denzel went home in that movie.
Let me stop right here before it's too out of hand. Like, y'all don't remember this correctly, but I don't remember the movie first, but I do remember this distinctly. He was with that woman. He courted her when they were young. He went to the military shit, came back, worked hard and shit. She couldn't have any babies.
No, they had kids.
They had kids.
Huh?
They had kids.
Yeah.
They had the two boys.
Yeah.
Something. It was something about that with some kind of childbirth that went wrong with her. Long story short.
Go ahead. I can't remember that one. Go ahead.
But he have like, okay, so she had 2 boys.
Oh, one boy. I think it was just one boy. I think I was wrong. I think it's one boy.
It was something going on.
Because that little nigga name was Corey.
But he brought another child into the house. The woman died, and she ended up taking, raising the little boy. I think. No, I think it was raising a little girl. That's what it was. Raising a little girl.
That's the girl he had from the woman.
But something happened after that first child where she couldn't have kids, if I remember correctly. So more of the story is she got her other child. The woman died. So the woman was out of picture, so she was already one. Then the dude died, so she hated him and he died. So she won. She got the kids. She was cool. This shit was blown out of proportion. This shit was totally blown out of proportion, man.
I know a woman personally that did that. Like her baby daddy had a child by, I'm gonna just use the word unfavorable, by an unfavorable woman who didn't seem like she was gonna be a good mother to the child. And the guy's other baby mother stepped up and got the child, said the child was a part of him. That was her kid's brother.
Yeah, yeah, because that's life. Like, like as crazy as all this shit makes it, like it's part of your DNA, it's part of your genetics, procreation is part of life. Like, and it comes down to that, like, they created life. It's not the worst thing in the world. Yeah, you may be mad about it, especially if it's a situation where, there is a burn situation with a woman where she can't have children, and the jealousy, and it may hurt her to her soul. But like, it's creating life. My big homie growing up, he got with a woman. She had 2 kids before him. They ended up getting together, and having a baby. Long story short, she had 3 children when she was with him. And only one of them ended up being his, and he still raises all of them kids to this day. Like, they were his. So like it goes both ways. Like can't make like children are just, the curse, or curse, or just this vow curse of society, man. Like, it just happened. It's the chamber. That's something I don't agree with. Like, and it could be much worse because I know, like, shit, I've been in situations, other people been in situations where, your lady's mad at you because you're talking to somebody too much, or you got a good relationship with somebody you work with, or anything like that, just conversation. And you got to think women and men will in a relationship because of conversation. But you got to think, like, how much different it gets when you start creating life and bringing other things into it like that, and everything in between.
Yeah, for sure. But the difference between back in them days and today, man, because there was a lot of men who found out children weren't theirs back in that day. They was out working hard.
Yeah.
The wife was flying the milkman. Now you got one kid that don't look nothing like the other kid. Like you said, that man still stayed out of his love for the woman that raised that kid, knowing that kid ain't his. You feel me?
Yeah.
That's
nothing new. That's nothing new.
But I think now, with everything being so social and everybody wanting to show their relationship, and everybody's listening to everybody else's perspective on relationships, it's just created this box. Situations aren't by the individual basis. Situations are being compared to somebody else's situation. You stupid for staying because that person over there was in that same situation and they left. You see what I'm saying? You seeing the whole world view versus back then, you only knew what was going on your street. But now you comparing stuff to,
a motherfucker who you don't even know comparing to your own life.
Like some type of fake standard, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
When in reality, you think the president of the United States gets some head in a fucking White House, So that should tell you that your fairy tale is not reality.
No.
Okay.
We done seen where pastors on when he got women pregnant, all type of stuff. That's reality.
So
whether we don't want to deal with it.
Are y'all saying that a lot of times, especially right now where everybody's putting so much stuff out there, is that people are, sometimes we get confused with what we think is a relationship, or what's been put out there as a perfect relationship, as what really is a reality relationship. So meaning that, everybody just put the good out there. When you seeing it on social media, they taking trips, they buying stuff, they at family functions. And so sometimes people get to comparing their situation to, I'm over here with this motherfucker, and whatever the case may be. But you only getting a snap of what they got going on.
They used to call that shit the grass ain't always green on the other side.
And you always ever notice, like, I don't know about y'all, but like when it comes to relationships and stuff like that, a lot of times the best advice you get is from somebody older. And I guess now we them older guys, but it's like, cause you probably going through it the first time, you could think it's the end of the world. Sometimes it could be the second time you may think it's the end of the world. And then you'll talk to somebody older and you'll tell them what your problem is. They'll sit there and laugh at you like, that's it? And it could be somebody you thought their relationship was perfect. And, they get to telling you about the time that they did this and did that, and, how they had to fix it.
Or your brother, or your father tell you that your brother ain't his.
Yeah. Your punk ass brother.
He ain't, man.
I fuck with him though, but I mean, I don't know. It just seemed like, I could be wrong. I mean, that cheating thing, that's been going on before any of us was on this earth. While we on this earth, that cheating thing gonna go on, and when we gone, niggas still gonna be cheating.
Let me slide this up under y'all, right? And this is something that I think women don't grasp, but women tend to talk to other women who are telling them the relationship that they should have. Not the relationship, they're not talking to them about the relationship that they're currently in. Like, I'm in this type of relationship. They basically saying, don't be like me. You need to be in a relationship where the man is doing this, this, and this, and not doing this, this, and this, right? And it gives that woman this fairy tale concept of what a relationship is, because the person who's telling her about a relationship is telling her to go find a fairy tale relationship, not a relationship that she's ever been able to achieve in her own life. So the mother, the sister, the big homie, whoever, they all talking to this young woman about a relationship that they never managed to achieve, but they telling her that that's the standard. You follow me? That's the standard that they never was able to achieve, but that's the standard for you. That's gonna always mess your world up, And that goes back to, like, with us being young, a lot of us knew who our father's side woman was. We knew
who your granddaddy's side woman was.
You knew who your granddaddy's side woman was, right? But at the same time, that girl in that household, all that's being kept from her. And they raising her, to believe that men are something totally different. That she believed her grandfather is something totally different than what he is. Her father is something different than, what he is. So we're not dealing with reality. So when you're not dealing with reality, just like I keep saying, imagine when reality crumbles your world. Because you live in a fairy tale.
Okay, so I got a scenario for y'all then. I got a scenario for y'all. So let's say y'all got a sister, right? sister. She cute. You know, she alright. She alright. So she ended up messing with a guy. And you being a guy, you can kind of size a guy up pretty fast. You know what I'm saying? And you know, she wants the quote unquote fairy tale, or they gonna be together. He can't mess around, whatever. And let's say he mess around on her, and he gets another chick pregnant, and she come to you and she says, yeah, we've been going through it. Come to find out, he ain't got this chick pregnant. She gonna have a baby. I'm leaving him. I can't deal with that. A baby is a deal breaker. A baby is a deal breaker. So, do you give that woman any advice? And it's your sister.
You want me to go first?
It don't matter.
Yeah. What I done learned in life is that people have a type. Like, I watch women, quote unquote, good women who only deal with street guys. Not only that, they only deal with the popping street guys, the street guys whose names just start popping at the moment, right? They always throw themselves in the line of sight of that guy. And I'm gonna tie a lot of different things that we talked about in right here. That guy in particular, he knew the money, he knew the attention. He been sitting back for the last 4 or 5 years wishing to get a certain type of women, right? Now he here now. You feel me? And now that same woman who likes a certain type of man but don't want to get cheated on, or claims she don't want to cheat on, don't want to get cheated on, or she not gonna deal with a man that had a baby, this, that, and the third, but she wants him, this new guy who just popped up. She hearing about all the different women that he dealing with, but at the same time, she wants to put herself in his line of sight and stop his motion. I'm gonna give him some. Me and him gonna be together, and he better not cheat. Right? Now, she go through all the drama dealing with him or whatever, they fall out, etc. But the very next time the new guy pop up, that's in that same that same scenario, she jump back in front of him again, then get up under him again. You feel me? It don't change. The pattern doesn't change. So even if that's my sister, I'm gonna know that my sister likes a type of guy, right? So the fact that I know that my sister likes this type of guy, I know that pattern is going to keep being the same. My sister she has a type, So, okay, he got a baby on the way. He ain't give you AIDS. Do you love him still? Okay, sis, I ain't gonna tell you to just up and leave if you still love him, That's gonna be my advice, because guess what? You like a type. So just because you leave him, you're gonna go deal with the same type of guy and go through the same type of thing.
So the deal breaker would be AIDS.
I'm just
shit. You ain't got it. Nah, that ain't even a deal breaker.
I'm just saying.
Now what he said is 100% true though. Like, that's just the same thing. You remember they used to say, Ski? Remember they used to tell you, like, I didn't, I grew up like an only child, and I know you did too. But now, Corey, you don't have any sisters. But like, I remember hearing this. Your sister's getting into it with this dude she been fucking with. They start fighting or whatever. Don't get in that shit. Come stick it in blood. Because after you go over there, rough him up, shooting and doing all that dumb shit, she can go right back to him. Mm-hmm. That's basically what Ski's saying. Shit, if she leave him, she can go get another version of him. You feel me? Mm-hmm. So I understand it 100%. Like my sister was like, I remember this too. Like, I got an older sister, and I remember like it was something like, and I never would have paid the guy for this. Like, You know, my cousin used to always joke on him and call him, old jelly bag, you know what I'm saying, weak motherfucker. But I remember one time they was doing some kind of party or something.
What's a jelly bag? What's a jelly bag?
Ain't got no spine, weak.
Oh, okay.
Oh shit, but I remember this shit. I would have to be like some shit like 10 years old or some shit. You gotta think my sister's 18 years older than me. So I didn't grow up around her or anything. Like, you know, she was gone out of the house when I was born, basically. But I remember they would have some kind of party, some kind of function. I remember like being at my grandmother's house, and they stayed with my grandmother for a second when they moved back from Tennessee. And I remember her storming in like before she was the first one back, crying and shit. And you know, come to finding the story, like another woman he had been fucking with. Remember, he used to be a pizza delivery guy. Like, you know, I think he might have been a manager or some shit. And he had a whole pop up at the party, and you know what I'm saying, shit just hit the, you know what I'm saying, shit went crazy. And I think that shit went on for about, like, I think it was kind of bullshit for about a week. He may have left the house or something or whatever. Because remember, he stayed with my grandmother, you know what I'm saying? And that shit, you know, whatever it was, I didn't ask no questions. I was too young to ask, but they got past that shit. They still together now. So, you know what I'm saying? Like, that'd be my thing about it. It's like, what are you willing to throw away over, you know what I'm saying, what he did, his mistakes or his wrongs? What are you willing to, you got to add up, like, in any relationship, you got to add up all the good and the great and weigh that shit against whatever bad it is. You know, like, we talked about this shit before. It was just by the standard of, you know, him not fucking with other women, like conversating or fucking them or, you know, giving them money, whatever it is, shit. Like, I know motherfuckers will get away with being bums and just do that one thing right and everything is cool. It's like, my thing is like, I don't understand the rules you are playing by.
Because they've been misled into believing that the whole idea of a relationship is a man not cheating.
Yeah.
Like, if you could get that, because the other women who taught them about relationships could never get that. So they're like, girl, if you could go out here and get you a man that don't cheat, girl, you is great.
Yeah.
No, you're not. That don't necessarily mean you're going to like this guy.
Yeah.
You know? But
all right. I remember hearing somebody say something. They was saying, what did they say? They say, well, like a man in a relationship, and you know, him and the girl getting into it, and then she say something like, "But I ain't never cheat on you. I wasn't cheating." And they were saying like that's not that's not an achievement. They talking about that's what you're supposed to be doing. You're supposed to not cheat.
Yeah. Yeah, but you gave me hell in every other aspect of the relationship.
Right.
You feel me? You talk to me crazy.
Man.
I couldn't get you to do nothing. Didn't really feel love. None of that. But you ain't cheating. That's your own personal standard. You was raised to be that. Like, you a woman, you're not supposed to be out here cheating. It ain't had nothing to do with me. Any man you get with, you're gonna go through that same motion. Just because you've been taught that, like, if I get with this man, I can't cheat.
No, my bad. It's the other way around. It was, I heard it somewhere. He was saying,
you heard it right, Corey. That's the way it goes. Yeah, you heard it right. I've been through that shit.
but
all right, I got something else. I got another question. All right, so you and your woman, y'all been together. You got about, I don't know, let's say 5 years in. And now all of a sudden, the man, he want bitches. Now, is it a rule of thumb to how many times he can cheat before she leave? Like, after 3, she got to go? Or is it 1.5? Or after 8? Or
that's based on the individual and just what they can handle, what they can and can't deal with. But again, that also goes into back to the topic. Why do men cheat? Like, why did that man all of a sudden was with a woman for 5 years that all of a sudden want to smash a bunch of women? More than likely, that man had never tasted success or attention. Because, a lot of women lost their relationship when social media hit. when women became one click away. You know, they was dealing with a man that would never, you know, walk up on a woman and say, hey, ma'am, you know, hey, lady, how you doing? You know, I've been seeing you around. You know, I would love to get to know you if that's possible. You know, a lot of men couldn't do that. So, like, when you got the social media and women sitting themselves out there twerking, naked, and all that, and you could just inbox them because clearly they looking for attention, and you could just inbox them. That changed the game for a lot of women. Changed the game for a lot of women. I mean, a lot of men and women, because it changed relationships in general. But my point is saying is that we are men. We go through phases, just like women go through phases. When a woman was thin, didn't really have a physique, she got a certain type of attention. When a woman grew into her figure, her hair grew long, she got a different type of attention. Now, who she is as a person is based on how do she manage that new attention. Your first go round, you might jump in every car that want to pull up on you, you know, because you done grew a butt or when it got your butt done. You might go on every trip that a guy offered, you know. Then after a while, they get tired to you, you know, you're like, oh, man, this ain't the life I want to live. Like, I really want a deeper, you know, a deeper situation, a deeper commitment. And it's the same way with men. Like, if a man, I was telling a woman that I know, you know, dealing with some stuff with her man, and I asked her, I was like, you know, what was he like up into this? So she tell me the situation, and I'm like, well, I might give him a pass. She's like, what you mean? I'm like, because from what you telling me, like he just made it to the point that he always been trying to get to. You feel me? Whatever that level of success is, he just made it there. Like, and he probably in his mind has certain women on his radar that were determining factors of his success. Like, when I get to a certain level, I'm gonna know I'm there because I'm gonna be able to get such and such and such and such. Now, I know that might hurt to hear as a woman, but again, we're talking about what's going on in a man's mind. You feel me? If I start rapping today, you see all of the rappers dealing with, well, I ain't gonna say me, but I'm just like, if a guy starts rapping today and he see all of the different men dating Lori Harvey, he thinking like, man, if I get there and Lori Harvey's single, when it's time for me to win a Grammy, I'm at her too. Because in his mind, Lori Harvey deals with who popping. So what better way to show that he popping is to date Lori Harvey. You feel me? And that's just the way men be thinking. So if you've been with a woman for 5 years, more than likely, like I said, that guy, stuff start going good for him. And he's now able to get different types of women. And he's not grounded enough to, or he just haven't been through it enough. He got to go through it this one time first. You know, find the ins and outs of it. He got to jump out there and get his head cracked a little bit. And he'll settle back down.
All right. Do you think men cheat because they bored?
Nope. They ain't got nothing to do with boredom. Like I said, like it's none of that type stuff. Like, because man, we men. If you bored, you can go shoot some basketball, play the video game. Like, nah, that ain't just because you bored. Like, you gotta be aroused to have sex in some type of way. It ain't about no boredom.
What you think, Richie Rich?
Hey, I've heard the boredom thing too. Now that like you said, that ain't shit. Like, you know, like I said, I don't think boredom. Like I said, I can't speak for everybody's household, but I've never been, you know, in a relationship where I've been bored. Like you said, I come pull up on y'all. Like, you know,
you could create some entertainment.
Yeah. So,
but in closing, because I know we coming, you know, to the end. In closing, so we always got to kind of lead the ladies with a with a message of understanding. So in closing, men go through phases, no different than a woman who grows into her body or a woman who gets her body done and starts experiencing a different type of attention, or people want to interact with her different. It's the same way with a man. A man, you know, starts out at a point where nobody's really checking for him, only a few people checking for him. Then he starts getting checked for. He has to go through that to be able to navigate, you know. And Women are okay with attention. Men gonna always go a little further than attention. Attention is just not enough for a man. You know, if a man is attention seeking, it's not just to get attention. He's attention seeking to get vagina, to get women. And you know, if you could understand that, then you could really understand how and why men move. And ladies, you know, it's gonna sound crazy saying it, but just understand that the man you with, you were once on his radar. You feel me? Regardless of what he's doing right now, at some point in his life, he looked at you and said, man, when I get here, I want her. I want her to be my woman. So regardless of what he do outside of that, just remember that. Like at some point, that's how he thought about you. I want her. You were on his wish list. You are part of his accomplishments, a part of his idea of success. And that's real. Y'all got anything?
Do I got anything? I don't know, man. I'm still. I'm going through my notes, and I want to have something real slick to say, and I don't.
Drop one of those stories when you get caught cheating, Corey. I know you got about 50 11 over, man. Drop one of them stories.
You got a story when I got caught cheating?
Hey,
I got a story of
that. I got something better for you than that, right? And you ain't even got to tell your business, right?
Mm-hmm. Oh, he about to say some. Nah, man, we about to end this right here.
This some real shit, right? This some real shit. When you
see, all right, hit the button, Rich. Hit the button.
When you no, seriously.
Let them get one shout out, man.
When you first opened your business, and then when you got to the point of your business being extremely successful, you get notoriety for that business, right? And people started to view you different. Me and you used to joke about it all the time. But I remember telling you, a chick came to me and was like, who is this Corey guy you be around? No, she said, who's this Corey guy you be around now? And I'm like, half for the same Corey I've been always been around. Like, what you mean? When was he not around? But you know, she had been hearing your name coming out of other women's mouth, hearing people talking about you, and she was trying to put herself in your line of fire. You feel me? And you had a girlfriend at the time.
I was popping at the time.
But I'm saying, you had a girlfriend at the time, and you actually had to deal with women coming for you. I remember they used to come to me, like, you know, what's up with your boy? So you know personally that you could be with a woman or have been with a woman, and then you get to that point and it's like, wow, all these different types of women are at me now, and they coming at me from all these types of angles. How well did you manage that? Hey, Rich, you see how you get a motherfucker busted? How well did you navigate that?
Oh, shit.
Oh, I mean, you know, they went down smoking.
Oh, shit.
They were going down smoking.
Oh, shit. And I remember hearing about that shit, too. But is that the same Corey you used to hang with?
Man, listen. I really kept it a little PG-13 for real. Like, I cussed that woman out for saying that thing. You know who he is. You know who he is. You've been listening to women talk about it. Now you want to try to play clueless.
Yeah, I definitely remember the story.
You're trying to create your excuse ahead of time. Oh, I ain't know that. Nah, you know.
But see, and that right there, though, that's the catch when you're younger. You see it coming, and sometimes you don't see it coming. So you still they still get taken down smoking. But the question is though, that's a good transition. The question is, as we get older in life, you know the play now. Do you still fall for the play?
You've been through it before.
Yeah, but do you still fall for the play though?
No, not at all. Not at all.
Because now you're more experienced, but you got to go
and you
through
know the
it.
drama that came along with it. You know the women who act like they only wanted it to be a sex thing. Next thing you know, they contacting people and all type of stuff. Where they came and did it to you in your car real quick, and the next thing you know, they run around telling people y'all together. You don't even know her name. Okay, all you know is a chick that pushed down on you. You know what I mean? So
does that go back to what we said? Ask the question I asked earlier. Do we grow out of this though?
Yeah, but
we said earlier. You said no.
No. What I
he said. He said the same thing the first time.
Oh, did
yeah? Okay. I said you grow out of being a player. I said you grow out of having that thought process and you just want to knock everything moving down. I said, but you still can make mistakes. Mistakes are human. Ain't nobody perfect. Mm-hmm. But you see that coming now. Like when a woman trying to approach you like she don't know who you is, and like, nah, baby, you know who I am. Yeah, you know what I mean? You're not even finna rock me to sleep with that. And you know who I deal with. So I'm not even finna let you get that out, because as soon as I deal with you, you gonna contact her. So no, I'm not finna go for that. Been there, done that. Miss me with that.
Valid point. Yeah, you go ahead and end it, Richie Rich. I ain't gonna get no more of my business now.
My thing is shit. You dealing with a man, he makes a mistake, man. Don't kill yourself. Don't kill him and don't kill yourself over the mistake. It happened, of course you don't want it to happen, but man, at the end of the day, you can't control that man's meat. He can't control his own dick for real. Shit, if you had a dick for 2 weeks, you'd be in a whole lot of trouble. I'm telling you. Shit ain't as easy as it sounds. Tell you the God honest truth, man.
Hell no.
I mean, but seriously, I've been through it, going through it now, like shit. You don't give a man so much hell for making a mistake. And then, you're giving yourself hell on top of that. You're giving you a hell raise at that point. So, mistakes are made. Sometimes you gotta get past it. And like I said, y'all into that commitment, man. That's when it's really on his, on his conscience, on his being to try to, hold up to his end as well as you up to your end. So, don't tear up everything, wreck everything just because man did wrong or made a mistake. So.
I heard an older lady say this. She said, you don't leave a man for cheating. You leave a man for not paying that rent.
Yeah, but that's in the old days. Women now, that even go back to that movie, and I know we gotta end it, but they go back to fences. They go back into the days where men was bringing their paycheck home to their wife. Mm-hmm. So women making their own money nowadays. Women out here flourishing in business and sometimes doing more than men. You know what I mean? So business, just education, whatever it is, So those old school scenarios don't apply because a woman don't have to be there.
So okay, so wouldn't you say that the rules is kind of we got to summon it up real quick though. So the rules is a little different now. So with the women being able to have more financial freedom and more financial independence, just because they got that financial independence, it don't mean that the cheating is gonna stop. Because I remember this one time we was talking about something was going on. No, I can't say that. But one of y'all answer that. I can't say that.
No, I mean, I don't think it's about cheating still going on. I think that it's just times is just different. Like, a woman don't got to put up with your shit. Like, she could get the fuck away from you. Back in the days, they kind of sort of had to put up with certain stuff because their life and livelihood depended on it. They had to think about their kids. Like, if I leave this man, I'm taking a roof from over my kids' head, so I'm gonna stay here and deal with it. But now a woman could just go buy her own crib. I'm gonna take my kids and
Mm-hmm.
You know, we gonna leave you. So it's just times is different.
Okay, so you say a woman don't got to put up with your bullshit. That's what you just said?
Yeah, I'm just saying whatever it is. I'm saying they don't have to go for it nowadays. They have the resources to move on. So they putting up with it by choice, not because they have to.
Yeah, it's a whole different dynamic. You know, at the end of the day, they still gotta put up with your bullshit, but they ain't gotta stay here and live with you. Like it's totally different dynamic. Like I said, like, it used to be one income households. Man would bring home the bread. You know, then
But when do they have to stop putting up with the bullshit?
Just when they decide, that's a personal thing. That's just,
Whenever
yeah,
everybody's cut line is different.
yeah, ain't got to.
All right.
And really, like he said, like just the fraternizing or the stepping out on your old lady, that ain't really the bullshit. There's a lot more bullshit in life than that. But
I'm glad you said that.
Valid point.
I'm glad you said that. And I know we got to close out, so we end it like this, right? And I'm gonna give you the best example ever. A woman who was dealing with a man that was breaking her jaw and knocking her eye out of socket, right? And cheating on her, right? She meet a new guy who handles her gentle, but he got a few women, right? She might be happy with not getting her, getting hands put on her. You feel me? Like that might be happening to her. Like I could deal with the women thing. It's just I don't want my face broken up and my jaw broke. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So everybody breaking point different. And with that being said, we just completed another episode of Can We Talk for a Minute? Again, thank you, ladies, for giving us the topic, and hopefully we gave you some good insight. See you guys next time. Make sure you like the podcast, subscribe, and just feel free to leave us some comments. Peace.
Have a great one.